17 foods to avoid if you have bad kidneys. Your kidneys are bean-shaped organs that perform many important functions. They're in charge of filtering blood, removing waste through urine, producing hormones, balancing minerals and maintaining fluid balance. There are many risk factors for kidney disease. The most common are uncontrolled diabetes and high blood pressure. Alcoholism, heart disease, hepatitis C virus and HIV infection are also causes. When the kidneys become damaged and are unable to function properly, fluid can build up in the body and waste can accumulate in the blood. However, avoiding or limiting certain foods in your diet may help decrease the accumulation of waste products in the blood, improve kidney function and prevent further damage. Here are 17 foods that you should likely avoid on a renal diet. 1. Dark-colored colas. Dark-colored colas should be avoided on a renal diet because they contain phosphorus in its additive form, which is highly absorbable by the human body. 2. Avocados. Avocados should be avoided on a renal diet due to their high potassium content. 1 cup of avocado provides nearly 37% of the 2000 mg potassium restriction. 3. Canned foods. Canned foods are often high in sodium. Avoiding, limiting or buying low-sodium varieties is likely best to reduce your overall sodium consumption. 4. Whole wheat bread. White bread is typically recommended over whole wheat bread on a renal diet due to its lower phosphorus and potassium levels. All bread contains sodium, so it's best to compare food labels and choose a lower sodium variety. 5. Brown rice. Brown rice has a high content of phosphorus and potassium and will likely need to be portion controlled or limited on a renal diet. White rice, bulgur, buckwheat and couscous are all good alternatives. 6. Bananas. Bananas are a rich source of potassium and may need to be limited on a renal diet. Pineapple is a kidney-friendly fruit, as it contains much less potassium than certain other tropical fruits. 7. Dairy. Dairy products contain high amounts of phosphorus, potassium and protein and should be limited on a renal diet. Despite milk's high calcium content, its phosphorus content may weaken bones in those with kidney disease. 8. Oranges and orange juice. Oranges and orange juice are high in potassium and should be limited on a renal diet. Try grapes, apples, cranberries or the juices instead. 9. Processed meats. Processed meats are high in salt and protein and should be consumed in moderation on a renal diet. 10. Pickles, olives and relish. Pickles, processed olives and relish are high in sodium and should be limited on a renal diet. 11. Apricots. Apricots are a high potassium food that should be avoided on a renal diet. They offer over 400 mg per 1 cup raw and over 1,500 mg per 1 cup dried. 12. Potatoes and sweet potatoes. Potatoes and sweet potatoes are high potassium vegetables. Boiling or double cooking potatoes can decrease potassium by about 50%. 13. Tomatoes. Tomatoes are another high potassium fruit that should likely be limited on a renal diet. 14. Packaged, instant and pre-made meals. Packaged, instant and pre-made meals are highly processed items that can contain very large amounts of sodium and lack nutrients. It's best to limit these foods on a renal diet. 15. Swiss chard, spinach and beet greens. Leafy green vegetables like Swiss chard, spinach and beet greens are full of potassium, especially when served cooked. Although serving size becomes smaller when cooked, potassium content remains the same. 16. Dates, raisins and prunes. Nutrients are concentrated when fruits are dried. Therefore, the potassium content of dried fruit, including dates, prunes and raisins, is extremely high and should be avoided on a renal diet. 17. Pretzels, chips and crackers. Pretzels, chips and crackers are easily consumed in large portions and tend to contain high amounts of salt. Additionally, chips made from potatoes provide a considerable amount of potassium. Discover easy ways to lose weight at home. Click on the link in the description.